In my last video, I made 50 clay magnets using Airdry clay, earthenware clay that you fire in a kiln, and just a little bit of polymer clay. If you didn't see that video, I strongly suggest you go and check it out. I will link it somewhere up here, and I will also link it down in my description below. Lots of good stuff in that episode, but today we are moving on to part 2 where we paint all the clay pieces. We will also give them a coat of either resin or varnish, plus attach all the magnets. I've also got some updates for you guys, so stick around till the end of the video. Otherwise, let's get into painting all these magnets. The two main types of clay magnets I have are Airdry clay and earthenware clay that has been fired in a 1000-degree kiln. While I would love to use glazes for the kiln-fired clay, I don't have any yet. So for the earthenware, I will use acrylic paint. For this first batch, which are the Airdry clay pieces, I'm going to use paint pens. Honestly, there's no deep reason for me doing this way. I just wanted to try a batch using paint markers. So yeah, that's how I'm dividing it up. First designs I'm attempting, and I say attempting because I'm not happy with how it's going, is the Mushy Friends crew. Bonnie the Bee was the easiest because the indented lines helped guide me, but freehanding the details for the others without sketching the lines first, yeah, I'm not quite there yet. Next are these leaves. I wasn't feeling very inspired when painting them, and I think that shows. The next few I paint are the fruit. I love the colour of watermelon. It's so pleasing to look at, pink contrasting with the green, then the sharp pops of black. Something about the colour combination and the shape just tickles a certain part of my brain. The strawberry, I did initially make the seeds yellow, but I will change that later. Strawberries are another thing that I like to draw or paint. I'm not thrilled about that red colour, but overall, it looks okay. The paint markers I'm using are Posca and Artex. The Posca I really only use these days because of the colour selection. I actually prefer the Artex, but the colour selection of this particular set are a little darker than I would like. The heart magnet turned out really nice. When I made it, I was just experimenting with the tools, making marks in the clay, and I ended up liking the effect around the edges. I highlighted them in a different colour, and I think it looks simple, but effective. Seashells for some reason were a bit tricky. I wanted to keep them simple, but also bring out the texture and depth. I probably could have used a darker wash or done a dry brushing technique to enhance them. Honestly, I'd love to use glazes on these. A nice, simple design with fun, colourful glazes would be amazing. Hopefully, one day I can dive into that part of pottery. This heart, and his friends like him, left me uninspired, and I can tell you right now, he will not make the cut. You see, I have made more than 50 clay pieces, but I only have 50 magnets to attach to the backs, so some will not be made into magnets. With the paint palettes, I actually had to play with some of them off camera. I was testing out whether it's better to outline the paint blobs or just leave them as simple blobs, and whether to give them a little white highlight or just stick with basic paint. I'd love to know what you think. Leave a comment at the end of the video and let me know which pieces you like the most. What would you actually buy and put on your fridge? Which collection do you prefer? You know, like the food or ocean, art tools or summer themed magnets. Any feedback would be awesome. My favourite so far has to be these paint tubes. They just came out so cute. Moving on to the kiln-fired pieces, I have already pre-mixed my selection of acrylic paint. I'm back to painting Lil, and I'm still determined to paint these things freehand. I really shouldn't have, but I thought if I did it enough, I would improve and get the hang of it. But nope, just nope, they look awful. The reason I was so hell-bent on freehanding and not drawing in any guidelines is I wanted to get them done at a decent pace. I want the designs to look good, but also be able to execute them in a timely manner. Oh God, poor Lil, she's never looked worse. Henry goes much the same way as Lil. Terrible. The one with the indents was far quicker and easier, but I also think I have made these way too small for the amount of detail I'm trying to paint on. I can't paint thin enough line work to make this work very well. Again, that is a good learning curve moving forward. The summer themed pieces like the flip-flops and popsicles are also some of my favourites. I think I would like to make push moulds for these. Plus, I would love to see what these look like with glazes. I love the colour palette I'm using for a bunch of these summer and fruit themed pieces, which I will mention I got from my Sarah Renee Clark colour cubes. It's number 092. Sliced citrus fruits are another thing that I love the colours, shapes and look of, especially when all together. There must be something about fruit. The shapes, the colours, I don't know, it's just so appealing. Who else out there loves the fun vibes of fruit? And which is your favourite? Not to eat, even though fruit is delicious, but the pleasant appearance and the fun of recreating the look in different styles. Next up, we have some more paint tubes. 3 of the 5 had the paint break off the tube before firing them. The other 2 I used a different way to join them, and they have remained intact after coming out of the kiln. To fix the broken pieces, I use Airdry. It is a super duper strong 2-part epoxy glue. Once I've done the repair, I go over the join with some gesso before painting them. While I've got the gesso out, I paint over some of the clay pieces I didn't like, with the intention of repainting them later, but that doesn't happen. Except for the little paint palettes, I will redo those. For the tubes of paint, I stick with the 5 colours from Colour Card 092. Nice bold colours with a simple design make these pop. I use a paint marker for the silver parts of the tube and I finish them off with some colour names, plus my signature for the logo. With the colour names, I think it would be cool to come up with some fun ones, but I'm not very good at that sort of thing. The flowers, again, I think would benefit from using glazes. I'm so keen to get some, but they can be quite pricey and I need to find low fire glazes. As my kiln only reaches 100 degrees Celsius, I do believe it will limit what glazes I can actually use. Bonnie the Bee has definitely turned out better than the other Mushy Friend characters. Her simple design, combined with the indent guides, has really helped. I would have liked her a bit bigger though. It just would have made it easier for the line work. But painting her has made me think that having custom cookie cutters for her shape and the line indents would make this all quicker, especially the painting part. Plus, I think it would end up with a far better result. But out of curiosity, which colour background do you think works best for Bonnie? For the paint palettes, and there are quite a few of these to play with as some of these are the Airdry clay pieces, I was just going to paint them all up the same. But in my last video, Sin City Yeti asked, are you going to paint the palettes in different colour palettes? I originally wasn't going to because I didn't want to have to mix up loads of paint for such small blobs, but then I realised there was nothing stopping me from just using paint straight out of the tube. Unlike the palettes I did with the paint pens, I wanted these blobs to be 3D. I played around with the metallic paint, which I didn't like so much, except when I teamed it with a black palette. I used some pastel paint, which wasn't structured enough and the paint just flattened out. Then I opened up a really old palette of paint from an old project that I thought had dried out long ago, but it was still good to use. Some of it was a little chunky, but it worked for this. The other palette had not fared so well. I did try mixing it up, but it just stayed looking like coloured vomit. This is going in the bin. After doing those pallets, my desk is pure chaos. For the next few magnets, I wanted to make a matching set. I painted the rose wine bottle, heart and leaf in the same shade of pink, teamed with a metallic gold. During my clay magnet making, my son has become very interested in the process. So I sat down with him to make some more magnets using polymer clay and some cookie cutters. But he didn't want to sit at his desk and do it. Oh no, he wanted to come to my desk and make them on camera. So here is a very short and condensed version of how that went. Put these there. Can you put your clay in the middle? Can you roll it? No. Yeah, watch what you're doing. Don't watch the camera. Watch what you're doing. That's it, you're getting it, see? Don't need me. You're doing pretty good, it's tough. You're getting there. Yeah, good job. Good. We can show Dad. Might have to use a bit more muscle. Push on it. That's it. Ah, there we go. Now you're getting it. Oh no, we're not putting sprinkles on it. You want to make the ice cream one? Yeah. Yeah, we can make the ice cream one, but you have to roll it out flat first. Keep going. There's the ice cream. That's it. And now you got to push it. So 2 hands flat. That's it. And then push. All right, pull the clay away. That's it. Now you get to pull this one off. So get your finger. There you go. See? Look at that. Can we show the camera? Oh, you want to show the camera? All right. Go. Hold it out. There we go. Ice cream. So let's go like that. All right, push. All the way down. 2 hands on top of each other like that and push. That's it. And then push it out. And show the camera. Yeah, back here a bit. There it is. A couple of fingerprints won't hurt it, will it? There we go. That's it, push. 2 hands. That's it, and really push. Oh, look, it came off on its own. I'll show the camera. You're onto it, aren't you? Hey, I forget these things, you remember. Yeah, hi camera. Mum. Yep, hi. Can you focus on this? Show the camera. Ta-da! All right, you've got to say ta-da. Bye. My son painted 2 at his desk with another camera setup, but I can't use that footage as he kept popping his head into the shot, and I don't want his face on here. At 15, he is still a minor and I would like to protect his identity, hence why I don't say his name either. But I do call him Bud, so let's go with that. While Bud painted 2, I painted the other 2 because while he does enjoy making and painting, he tires of this type of thing quickly. These 2 I will turn into magnets, but for Bud's 2, he wanted to glue them onto pop sticks. As I was unhappy with the seashells, I repainted them with metallics, and now I like them even less. This little cocktail drink is fun, but I really should have spent a bit more time on that blend of colours for the drink. The star is actually a repaint too. I had already painted a galaxy using paint markers, but I wanted another shot using acrylic paint, and I'm so glad I did. I think it turned out super pretty. The last piece to paint is the polymer clay mush I made from a silicone putty push mould. And I think this is the way to go for my mush friends. It is way easier to do, faster, and just looks so much better. Groovy is such a joyful little guy with his flower petal skirt and flower patterned mushy cap. And with that, we are ready to seal these guys. I want to use UV resin for a strong and glossy finish. First, I set up some large pop sticks with tape. You'll see why soon. Then I bust out 2 UV lamps. This UV resin I tested off camera first. It's from Kmart, so I wasn't sure how well it would work, and the results weren't great. It kind of goes hard, but it never really fully cured, as you can see by the fingerprints in the surface. So I purchased some Ribtex UV resin. It's about 5 times the price of the cheaper one, and while it does set properly, eventually, I don't think it's worth the hefty price tag. So if any of you have a recommendation for a good UV resin that is worth its price, please leave your suggestions. This process of applying the resin, spreading it out, removing the bubbles with a heat gun, as I couldn't find a lighter, and curing it under the UV lamp is a very lengthy process. I only got a few done this night. So the next day, while my son was outside playing, I set myself up on a little table in the shade with everything I needed. As it was sunny out and I didn't want the resin to start setting while I was applying it, I made a little black cardboard tent that I could apply the resin in. Then I would transfer it to the UV lamp for a quick set, then pop it in the sun to continue curing all the way through. For the set of 5 tubes, I wanted to only resin the blob of paint, then use a satin varnish on the rest of the tube, just to see if it looked better with a bit of contrast in the surface finish. I don't actually think it made that much difference. Maybe the colours pop a bit more on the tube. The final step is to attach the magnets. I want a strong bond between the clay and magnets, so I'm going to use araldite to glue them on. I must also excuse the backs of most of these magnets. Some I painted the backs to make them neater, but on the last day of painting, when I planned to get all these magnets neatened up, I had to leave my art room, got distracted, and forgot to come back in to close my paint palettes. The result was completely dried up paint. I didn't want to mix up all new paint just to paint the backs, so they will just have to look a little dodgy. So we are all done, and here are all 50 clay magnets. I'm going to hold up the board and do it very carefully. The reason I'm having to be so careful, I shouldn't have to be this careful, it's these guys. The single magnet is not enough. There needs to be 2 on there, but I didn't have enough, so I'm being careful. You can see I've placed them so they're kind of resting on the others to stay up there. Here we go. Ta-da! Let's have a closer look, shall we? So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed coming on this clay magnet journey, but stick around for the after show. Okay, update time. So what's been going on here? Which update do I want to give you guys first? Let's talk about the Create This Book 3 collaboration. I'm getting lots of comments. I'm trying to reply to all the comments. I know I've said time and time again, yep, it's due out, the video is coming. It really is. As most of you hopefully know, maybe not everyone that's watching this knows, it got caught in Canada with Nerdy Crafter for quite some time. At the time that she had it, her health wasn't the best in regards to her back, and being in a certain position for a long period of time, doing the sort of thing that making artwork for the book would require of her was just too much for her body. I can understand that. I get the same, not the same, but I get a similar problem when I'm trying to do longer projects in this chair at the desk. It really does take a toll on my back. Anyway, she sent the book on without taking her turn. We discussed that and just decided it was for the best. She will take her turn later on down the track, hopefully. But she sent it on to Anthony of ADC Art Attack. He was in Germany, but unfortunately the book didn't get out of Canada in time. It got stuck there during the postal strike, so it didn't land in Germany until January of this year. Then unfortunately, Anthony has been going through some rough times with having dental surgery and other commitments, which I totally understand. I don't want to put the creators under pressure to get this book done. It was never supposed to be a pressure thing. It was supposed to be fun, not just for the audience, but for all of us. But really the break, it's been over 6 months. I don't know how many months we're up to now, which is, yes, it's disappointing. I've been feeling it. All the other creators have been feeling it as well, but it's nobody's fault. It's just one of those things, unfortunately. But Anthony is still committed to getting it done. It's in his schedule, and he has promised that it will be this month hopefully it will be. And then he will pass it on to the next creator. I will let him announce that when his video comes out. But just a hint, it's going to England and it's going to be there for quite a couple of creators. So that's where we're at with that. Moving on. These magnets that I've been doing, so there's a reason why I did these magnets, all of them. I was having an experiment and a play because I would eventually, it's not going to happen anytime soon, but I would eventually like to be able to start making small clay pieces to sell. I've got my online shop. It's got merch, clothing, stickers, other stuff, and that's through Fourth Wall, but I would actually like to be making some pieces myself. I love clay. I've now got the kiln so I can fire the clay to be very strong, and I'm hoping this was just a dabbling thing for me to do and take you guys along with me in experimenting on what works, what doesn't work, what takes a lot of time, what's nice and quick. And I will be doing some more videos like this where I'll make key rings, pins, bag tags, and I'll keep experimenting and playing around. And I really want your input. I would love to know what you think, what designs you love the most, what products you would probably be more inclined to get. The reason I'm going for the smaller items, making smaller items, I can make more of them, but I can hopefully make them at a price point that is more affordable for people. I love to buy YouTuber merch, but bigger items aren't always doable. So like a big expensive hoodie or whatever, that's $30, $40, $50, $60, $70 or whatever. It gets a bit much, whereas just being able to buy a small piece of someone's art, the handcrafted items, to me a handcrafted item is a little bit more special and something small is a bit more affordable. You know what I mean? That's not to say I would sell these for a couple of dollars each. I can't do that. It's still got to be worth my time. Like some of these, I know it doesn't look like it, but after you make it, fire it, prime it, sand it, paint it, seal it, add the magnet, there's probably at least half an hour's work in here, if not more. And that's not ideal because a half an hour of work is say $20 or $30 worth, the materials on top. No one's going to buy a pin for $20 or $30. So I've got to figure some things out. But with this new kiln, in the video I already mentioned that I don't have glazes, but there are designs in here that I think would lend better to having glazes. So like these, they're nice to be painted, but like these ones, I would prefer to do glazing. Well, I may have just brought a few glazes just the other day and they're due in any day now. My husband had a little bit of a win on the horses, and when he does, he always gets very generous, and he's like, you want glazes? Here, buy this many glazes. So I brought just a few. So I'm a bit excited to be playing around with glazes. What else have I got for you? Oh, I want to do a little shout out. I went to a little market today and a student I used to work with, two of them actually, brother and sister, they were there with their mum. They had a stall and they made some stuff, and I just want to share it with you guys because it was absolutely beautiful and adorable. These kids, they hand make the items. I can't say their names for privacy reasons, but I just wanted to share what they made and hope that they might see this video and just see their stuff. He made this little, go up to the camera, it's a little hand sewn capybara. So he hand sewed this and he's still in primary school. I'm so amazed. And it's so cute. Look at him. I think I need to give him a name. Ralph? Ralph, we'll call him Ralph. He's pretty cute. He can sit under my microphone actually. He can keep my microphone company. He also makes wizard wands and he does an amazing job. These are really cool. So I brought one. I love to make wizard wands too. And he did an amazing job. Is it going to focus on it? Yes. It's actually got little skull imprints all around it. And it is just adorable. I like that. And actually, I've got another one of his wands that he gave me for Christmas, one new one, and was still working with him. There it is. So he's very good. What else? Oh, headband. I think the girl may have made this, little girl, or maybe mum made the headbands. I'm not sure. But anyway, just wanted to share that. I thought that was pretty cute. Yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video and hope to see you next time.